Hi there. My name is Kevin Bogdanski. Uh, I work in the IT department here at Lake Erie College. I'm a graduate of Riverside High School, Auburn Career Center, and I'm currently a student here at Lake Erie College where I am pursuing a degree in education. Uh, as far as how I decided what I wanted to do, back in high school a couple years ago, I wasn't exactly sure where I wanted to go with my life. I didn't have too much exposure to everything around me and wasn't quite sure what I'd be interested in doing for a career. So, in my junior year of high school, I was presented with the opportunity to go to Auburn Career Center. That's a technical education institute located in Concord, Ohio. They do everything from cosmetology to a couple different kinds of IT work to actual manual construction labor. So at that point, when I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do as far as a career, I thought that would be an excellent opportunity for me because there would always be good jobs available in the IT field. And if I found that it was what I wanted to do for a career, I would have a head start on my education and be a bit ahead of the curve as far as getting opportunities in that field. So the journey of how I got to where I am today, it all kind of really started at Auburn Career Center. When I made the decision to enroll at Auburn, that meant I got to work with a fantastic instructor who taught me the basics of computer networking and hardware support. By the end of my first year at Auburn, I had gotten some industry certifications. My first one was the OSHA Workplace Safety certification. That was just kind of general, don't be an idiot on the job kind of thing, how to not electrocute yourself and make sure you don't hit yourself with a hammer, those kinds of things. But then towards the end of my beginning year, I got my CompTIA A plus certification that was really, it certified me in the basics of computer networking and hardware support. So that meant that I was recognized by the industry that I was knowledgeable in those areas. And then Auburn also had a particular focus on what are commonly referred to as soft skills. That's going to be things like how to write a resume, how to make a portfolio of some work you've done. And then most importantly as well, were interviewing skills. I think in large part because of the focus that they put on interviewing skills, that's the reason why I have my job today. Because before I was a full-time employee at Lake Erie College, I was actually an intern for the IT department. Uh, you know, they do this every year. They hire a couple of interns, but that particular year, they had a full-time position open as well. So when I went in for my internship interview, I was pretty sure I wasn't going to end up getting the internship. About 8 other people from my course applied for the internship. They were more knowledgeable in IT work. They had some certifications that I didn't, and they had done some extracurricular activities involved in the IT field that I had not done as well. But when I came out of the interview, I was even more sure that I wasn't going to get the job because I felt like I had bombed my interview. But then, luckily enough, a couple days later, I was notified that they had in fact accepted me for the position as an intern here in the IT department. And with the work that I did as an intern, I was able to impress the director of the IT department, Brad Luda, and the other guys that I work with enough to the point where they were willing to offer me an offer of employment here in the IT department. So without those interviewing skills and all the basics that I learned at Auburn, I would not have been able to get to the internship, which would have led to me not getting the job that I have today. So LEC was a phenomenal help in getting me this job because the guys were super happy with the job that I did and they wanted to bring me into the department full time. And then as far as what LEC could do to offer more internships, I think that the physical plant is a great place to start. Like I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of different trades that are taught at Auburn, stuff like heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Um, I know that the physical plant has a lot of work coming up and they need to do on the HVAC systems here. And then, of course, you've got your other basics like plumbing and electrical work. So I think that the physical plant might be a great place to offer an internship. And then, as far as LEC finding internships for students here, I know Eric Evans, I think he's the career director here. He does some great work finding students internships that pertain to their particular field of study. A bit about my job. Every day when I come in, I've got a couple of things that I do. As a support technician, a lot of my work involves fixing the problems that other people on campus are experiencing. So, if someone's computer isn't acting quite right, or they've got an issue with an account or a website that we are responsible for, normally I'm one of the guys that'll go ahead and help out with that issue. Just like any other place, I'm always checking my email for any messages I might have received, voicemails and stuff like that. And then we also have a help desk system. That's how people submit tickets, which are their problems. We go ahead, we're checking that constantly. And then we also maintain all of the computer labs on campus. So I work with the interns that we hired for this year to go ahead and make sure those are always functioning properly, the computers are on and working, and the copiers and printers in there, that they have the paper that they need. As far as most important skills in my field goes, I gotta say it's going back to those soft skills. As a technician, there are a million different problems you're going to encounter throughout your work, and a million of those could occur in one day. And you're not going to know how to fix a million problems. So it's important to know how to effectively communicate with someone where you're at with a problem. Either you can tell them, okay, this is something super simple, I've done this before, I know how to go ahead and fix this, I'll get it done for you really quickly. Or you're going to have to know how to tell them in the right way that this is a bit of a bigger problem, something that you're not too familiar with, and you're going to have to take some time and do some research. But then, of course, I always fall back on the things that I learned at Auburn Career Center as far as my computer networking and hardware support basics. It's always been drilled in my head, and for good reason, that the first thing you ask someone is, have you tried turning it on and off again? That's about 50% of the time the solution to their problem. And, I always love those kinds of problems that we get from people. Hey, I'm having trouble with this. You just go ahead, you turn it on and off again, and apparently you're a genius. So that's always pretty good. But then, what can students do outside of the classroom to improve these skills? Like I mentioned earlier, the soft skills are an immense help wherever you go and whatever you do. So always try and work with people. Ask them how you're doing, communication-wise. Ask them, hey, is there anything I can do to work on these communication skills? Am I describing to you these things properly? Just always ask for feedback too. Feedback is immensely helpful. And then, try and get out there and try and do something that pertains to whatever you're trying to get a career in. For myself, when I was younger, I had trouble with communication skills. I was not too effective of a speaker, and that all kind of changed when I got a job at a bar. I know as silly as it sounds, it was a big help. I just worked behind the bar. I would stock coolers and stuff. We had a grill. I'd cook things, whatever was on the menu. But in effectively communicating with people, uh, customers, who were asking about available menu options or just generally talking to you as one does at a bar, just getting out there and communicating with people effectively builds communication skills. So, whatever you can do, get out there, talk to people, build those communication skills, and always ask for feedback. All right, so just to kind of wrap it up here, what do I enjoy most about my job? I got to say it's the people, not just the people that I work with here in the IT department. They're all fantastic, but everywhere across campus here at Lake Erie, uh, whether it's staff or faculty members, you're going to find some people who really enjoy the work that they're doing, who are really working to make Lake Erie College a better place for not just the people that work here, but for the students as well, of course. But there's just some genuinely amazing people here at campus, and I enjoy working with them a whole lot. But then what do I enjoy least about my job? It's just kind of one of the things you have to deal with as someone who works in a support role. You're going to run into some people occasionally that aren't always the most patient when a problem requires a decent amount of patience. Sometimes people can just be rude. That's just something you're going to have to deal with as someone who is working to fix things that aren't working right. And that's just kind of, an unfortunate truth about working in a service role. And then funny stories about the department. I won't go into too much detail because a lot of what happens in the office stays in the office. Uh, but just I got a lot of funny coworkers, and we really know how to have a good time in IT. But that's about it from me. Thank you very much.